So, having gone to America and met with people like Cody, the inspiration for the community meetings that I now hold, what I did next was I started to think about the things that I'd heard from them. And you'll see in some documentation, some incredible research that Dario and Cody and Terry from Walla Walla have collected over time, which shows how resilience is developed in individuals and how resilience is developed in communities. And you can read the research on that and see how powerful the stories are. So the key thing to talk about is that when I talk about things now that I think need to change, there is evidence that these things work. Now, as I say, I'm not an academic, so I'm not the best person to write those things in an academic way. I think my best influence is through using lived experience, which is what I'm hoping to do. So when I came back from America, I talked many times about the building blocks of resilience. But the more and more I spoke to audiences, the more I realised that I had to help people to understand that if they were coming to these conferences, they were hearing lived experience and it was exposing them to lived experiences of their own and maybe bringing up things that were difficult. I had to always help them to understand how to heal. And here's what happened. When I came back from America and I talked more and more, I connected together those learnings that I had in Washington State particularly and in Hillsborough, Oregon. And I came up with this, that for people to be able to learn, for people to feel safe, for people to be able to make progress, and for people to be able to heal, they need to have three things in place. They need to feel safe, they need to feel connected, and most importantly, they need to feel heard. And that really came from my passion for lived experience. The safe thing and the connected thing, well, that kind of feels obvious as part of a friendship, a part of a supportive relationship. You need to feel safe with someone to become trusting, of course. So we need someone that we feel safe with, or some people or a group or an activity that you feel safe with. You need to feel connected. How do we feel connected? Well, we feel connected through many different ways, but I'll give you an example in a moment. But we need to feel connected to those people, that they understand us. And finally, the most important one is they need to be heard. And it's really key that I talk about being heard, not being listened to, because sometimes you can listen all you want, but you won't really hear what someone's talking about. The person who hears it, the person who gives them time to talk, and they connect it with those other two things, that's how people move forward, that's how people heal. I started talking about healing rather than recovery because the recovery model has become prevalent in the UK, and quite rightly it focuses more on people's individual recovery rather than a medical model of trying to return people back to normal. And I agree with that. My only problem with the word recovery when it comes to mental health is that recovery feels like it has an end point. And I don't think recovery from all those things that cause you challenges, from the fears that you have that will affect you till your dying day, I don't think that's a process of recovery, I think that's a process of healing. Healing feels like a better word for me as well, because healing feels like even though sometimes it's still painful, it's still getting better. Even though it might not be the end of it, there's still more good to come. And even though you might never be fully healed, you'll know that you'll bear a scar, and that might be something you can use to remember. So to be safe, connected and heard means that you can engage with something that will move you forward. And I was determined to make one of our projects and one of the things that I run really work in that way. I'm going to talk in a moment to some people that have been part of it, but the Borough Castle project is something that was running before I went away and I was part of, and when I came back I really threw myself into making this my personal flagship group. It's a group of people with mental health problems, difficulties, challenges, however they want to self-describe, who live in the area that I work in, Yarmouth and Waveney in this case. And we pick them up every couple of weeks in a minibus, and we have lunch and we walk around Borough Castle, which is a historic Roman fort. We study it, we take photographs for the organisations that run it so that they can see the changes in the walls and the changes in the landscape. So we're recording that for the year. We create, at the end of it, an exhibition which people can come and see, and 3,000 people saw our sculpture at the Waveney Sculpture exhibition in the summer this year, in 2019. But what I realised we had to do was that the group had to not only know each other in a way that felt like they could come together once every couple of weeks and go to Borough Castle, but also trust each other enough not to need to share with each other anything about themselves personally, not to put themselves at any risk or to expose themselves, but just to find more joy in it. And so what we did was we created a secret Facebook page, so those people on Facebook could put photographs up from the activity, they could share them, and we'd of course monitor them and make sure that everything was appropriate. And everything is appropriate because these people feel safe, connected and heard, so they don't need to take risks with each other. And of course we have safeguarding and all those kind of things, but really more important than that, we create an environment of safe, connected and heard. We meet at the same time, we meet regularly, we stay in touch between sessions and after sessions, and we're part of something much bigger. We're creating exhibitions, we're helping new people to settle in. And it is really an extraordinary and special group that brings a lot of things to my mental well-being.